The theme and intent of this thread revolve around providing a comprehensive and detailed overview of various aspects of Albion Online, a sandbox MMORPG. The focus is on equipping new and existing players with in-depth knowledge about specific elements of the game, particularly related to character roles, gear, and abilities. Here is a detailed description of the theme and intent of the entire thread. Theme and intent. Theme: in-depth exploration of Albion Online's systems. The central theme of the thread is an in-depth exploration of Albion Online's gameplay systems, specifically focusing on the roles of tanks and healers, their gear, and the abilities that define their effectiveness in combat. This involves a detailed examination of the following aspects: character roles and class dynamics, tank roles, gear, abilities, and how they function in both PvE and PvP contexts, healer roles, gear, abilities, and their importance in maintaining team health and support, armor and gear systems, crafting options, what new players can craft immediately after the tutorial, emphasizing gathering resources, refining materials, and crafting essential tools and gear, armor tiers and sets, detailed descriptions of armor sets available for healers and tanks, covering different types and tiers, from basic to advanced, and their specific attributes and bonuses. Spells and abilities. Comprehensive lists of spells and abilities for both tanks and healers, detailing how these abilities contribute to their respective roles and overall gameplay strategy. Intent: educating and empowering players. The intent of the thread is to educate and empower Albion Online players by providing them with the information needed to make informed decisions about their character development and gameplay strategies. Specific goals include guiding new players, offering clear and detailed information on crafting, gathering, and gearing up immediately after the tutorial, helping new players establish a strong foundation in the game. Enhancing role understanding, providing in-depth descriptions of the roles of tanks and healers, their gear sets, and abilities, enabling players to better understand and perform their chosen roles in group content. Supporting strategic play, equipping players with knowledge about different gear sets and abilities, allowing them to tailor their character builds to suit various PvE and PvP scenarios, thereby enhancing their overall effectiveness and enjoyment of the game. Summary of content covered: armor gears, tiers, and sets. Detailed descriptions of armor gears for healers and tanks, including the different tiers T2 to T8, and specific sets like Cleric Rogue, Guardian Armor, etc. Spells and abilities. Comprehensive lists of spells and abilities available for tanks and healers, focusing on their functionality and strategic use in combat. Crafting options. Information on what crafting options are available to players immediately after the tutorial, including the types of resources to gather and the basic tools and gear to craft. Tank DPS healer structure. Explanation of how the traditional MMORPG roles of tank, DPS, and healer apply in Albion Online, including the flexibility offered by the game's classless system. Conclusion: the thread serves as a valuable resource for Albion Online players by providing detailed insights into critical aspects of the game's mechanics, particularly focusing on tank and healer roles. By offering comprehensive information on armor sets, crafting, and abilities, the thread aims to help players enhance their gameplay experience, make informed decisions, and effectively fulfill their roles in both solo and group content. Key features of Albion Online. Player-driven economy. Albion Online boasts a robust, player-driven economy where every item is crafted by players. Resources such as wood, stone, metal, and fiber are gathered from the world and processed into equipment, buildings, and consumables. This system encourages players to specialize in different professions, including gathering, crafting, and trading. Classless combat system. The game features a unique classless combat system. Instead of being locked into a specific class, players can change their playstyle by switching their equipment. Weapons and armor dictate abilities, allowing players to experiment with various combinations to suit their preferred combat style, be it melee, range, or magical. Open world and PvP. Albion Online's world is vast and open, with different biomes such as forests, swamps, and mountains. The world is divided into zones with varying levels of risk and reward. Green zones are safe for beginners, yellow zones allow for limited PvP, and red and black zones are full loot PvP areas where players can attack each other freely and loot the defeated player's gear. Guilds and territory control. Guilds play a significant role in Albion Online. Players can form or join guilds to collaborate on large-scale activities such as resource gathering, crafting, and PvP battles. Guilds can claim territories in the open world, control resources, and engage in GVG, guild versus guild warfare to expand their influence and wealth. Sandbox gameplay. True to its sandbox nature, Albion Online offers a high degree of player freedom. Players can engage in various activities beyond combat, such as farming, fishing, and building personal islands. The game also features a vibrant market system where players can buy, sell, and trade items. Graphics and sound. Albion Online features a stylized, isometric graphical presentation that is both charming and functional, allowing for clear visibility in the open world and during large battles. The game's sound design includes atmospheric music and sound effects that enhance the immersive experience. Regular updates and expansions. Since its launch, Albion Online has received numerous updates and expansions, adding new content, refining gameplay mechanics, and introducing new features to keep the game fresh and engaging. These updates often include new biomes, dungeons, equipment, and seasonal events. Community and platforms. Albion Online supports cross-platform play, allowing players on Windows, macOS, Linux, iOS, and Android to play together seamlessly. The game's community is active, with forums, social media groups, and an in-game chat system that fosters interaction and cooperation among players worldwide. Conclusion. Albion Online offers a dynamic and engaging MMORPG experience with its player-driven economy, flexible combat system, and open-world PvP. Its emphasis on player choice and sandbox gameplay allows for a variety of playstyles, making it an appealing option for players looking for a deep and immersive online world. Albion Online's armor and gear system is integral to its classless character progression and dynamic combat mechanics. The system is designed to provide players with maximum flexibility, allowing them to tailor their abilities and playstyle through their choice of equipment. Here's a detailed look at how Albion Online's armor and gear system works. Armor types. There are 3 main types of armor in Albion Online, each with its own characteristics, strengths, and weaknesses. Plate armor. Description. Plate armor offers the highest defense and is ideal for players who want to absorb damage and protect their allies. It provides the most protection against physical and magical attacks. Strengths. High defense, damage mitigation, crowd control resistance. Weaknesses. Reduced mobility and energy regeneration. Abilities. Typically includes abilities for taunting enemies, reducing incoming damage, and increasing resistance. Leather armor. Description. Leather armor strikes a balance between defense and mobility. It is favored by players who need a mix of protection and agility. Strengths. Moderate defense, increased attack speed, and balanced energy regeneration. Weaknesses. Less protection than plate armor, but more mobility. Abilities. Often includes abilities that enhance attack speed, provide stealth, or offer crowd control. Cloth armor. Description. Cloth armor offers the least physical protection but significantly boosts magical abilities and damage output. It's ideal for mages and other magic users. Strengths. High damage output, increased energy regeneration, and powerful spell casting. Weaknesses. Low physical and magical defense, making the wearer vulnerable to attacks. Abilities. Typically includes abilities that boost spell power, energy efficiency, and provide magical shields or teleportation. Weapon types. Weapons in Albion Online are diverse and cater to different combat styles. They determine your primary abilities and play a crucial role in shaping your character's combat role. The main categories include swords. Focus on melee combat, offering a balance of offensive and defensive abilities. Axes, known for high damage output and bleeding effects that cause damage over time. Maces, provide strong crowd control abilities and defensive buffs. Spears, offer reach and mobility, with abilities that enhance attack range and speed. Bows, focus on ranged physical damage with abilities that enhance attack speed and apply debuffs. Crossbows, offer powerful ranged attacks and burst damage. Daggers, provide high burst damage and stealth capabilities. Staves, nature and holy. Nature staves focus on healing over time and support, while holy staves provide burst healing and powerful defensive spells. Fire staves, specialize in dealing high magical damage with various fire spells. Frost staves, focus on crowd control and area damage using ice spells. Cursed staves, inflict damage over time and apply curses to weaken enemies. Gear quality and enchantment. Gear quality in Albion Online varies from common to masterpiece, affecting the item's stats and effectiveness. Additionally, gear can be enchanted to improve its power, with enchantment levels indicated by Roman numerals I, II, III, or tier colors. Higher quality and enchantment levels significantly boost the item's attributes. Crafting and customization. Every piece of gear in Albion Online is crafted by players, making crafting skills vital. Players can customize their gear through reforging, adjusting the item's attributes to better fit their needs. Enchanting, using resources to enhance an item's power. Runes, souls, and relics. These can be used in crafting to add special properties and further customize gear. Abilities and passives. Each piece of equipment, including armor and weapons, comes with active abilities and passive effects that define a player's role in combat. Players can choose from a selection of abilities to tailor their loadout to their preferred playstyle, whether it's tanking, dealing damage, or providing support. Conclusion. Albion Online's armor and gear system offers deep customization and flexibility, allowing players to create unique builds that suit their playstyle and adapt to different combat situations. This system underpins the game's classless progression, enabling players to switch roles and strategies by simply changing their gear, thus enhancing the game's dynamic and player-driven nature. Albion Online incorporates the traditional MMORPG roles of tank, DPS damage per second, and healer, much like World of Warcraft and other similar games. However, due to its unique classless system and sandbox nature, Albion Online offers more flexibility in how these roles are played and combined. Here's an overview of how the tank DPS healer structure applies to Albion Online. Tanks in Albion Online are responsible for absorbing damage, controlling the battlefield, and protecting their allies. They typically use plate armor, provides high defense and resistance to damage. Common choices include Guardian Armor, Soldier Armor, and Knight Armor, each offering abilities that enhance survivability and crowd control. Weapons. Maces, hammers, and shields are popular for their crowd control abilities and defensive stats. Examples include the one-handed mace with the snare charge ability, and the heavy mace with the root prison ability. Role. Tanks initiate fights, maintain aggro on enemies, and use crowd control abilities to disrupt opponents and protect their team. DPS damage per second. DPS players focus on dealing damage to enemies as quickly and efficiently as possible. DPS roles can be further divided into melee, ranged, and magic DPS. Melee DPS uses weapons like swords, axes, daggers, and spears. Popular choices include the dual swords, battle axe, and bloodletter. Melee DPS often wears leather armor for a balance of damage output and mobility. Ranged DPS utilizes bows and crossbows. Examples include the warbow and the whispering bow. Ranged DPS generally prefers leather armor to maximize their damage while maintaining some mobility and defense. Magic DPS uses staves such as fire staves, frost staves, and cursed staves. Common choices include the Great Fire Staff and the Demonic Staff. Magic DPS typically wears cloth armor to enhance their spell power and energy regeneration. Role. DPS players aim to maximize their damage output while positioning themselves effectively to avoid unnecessary damage and stay within healing range. Healer. Healers are responsible for keeping their team alive through healing and support abilities. They are crucial in both PvE and PvP scenarios. Armor. Healers often wear cloth armor to boost their healing capabilities and energy regeneration. Popular choices include the Cleric Robe, Mage Robe, and Druid Robe. Weapons. Healers typically use Nature Staves or Holy Staves. Examples include the Great Nature Staff and the Great Holy Staff. These weapons provide a variety of healing spells and support abilities. Role. Healers maintain the health of their teammates, dispel debuffs, and provide crucial support abilities that can turn the tide of battle. They must manage their positioning to stay safe while being able to reach their allies with healing spells. Flexibility and hybrid roles. One of the unique aspects of Albion Online is the ability to mix and match gear to create hybrid roles. For example, tank healers. A player might equip a tank weapon like a mace and pair it with healing gear to provide some support while maintaining survivability. DPS healers. Players can combine DPS weapons with healing gear to offer both damage and support in fights. Tank DPS. Some players use tank armor for survivability while equipping DPS weapons to contribute significant damage. Conclusion. The tank DPS healer structure does indeed apply to Albion Online, but the game's classless system and gear-based abilities provide greater flexibility and customization. This allows players to adapt their roles and playstyles to fit different situations, making the traditional MMORPG roles more dynamic and versatile. Whether in PvE dungeons, PvP battles, or large-scale guild wars, understanding and effectively utilizing these roles is key to success in Albion Online. Once you complete the tutorial in Albion Online, you will have access to a wide array of crafting options. Crafting is a fundamental part of the game's economy and progression system. Here's a detailed overview of the crafting options available to you immediately after exiting the tutorial. Gathering resources. Before delving into crafting, it's essential to understand resource gathering, which is the foundation of crafting in Albion Online. There are 5 primary types of resources you will gather. Wood, gathered from trees. Stone, gathered from rocks. Metal, mined from ore veins. Fiber, collected from plants. Hide, skin from animals. Each resource type has different tiers T2 to T8 representing the level of the resource, with higher tiers found in more dangerous zones. Crafting stations. Crafting in Albion Online is done at specific crafting stations, each dedicated to different types of items. After the tutorial, you will typically find these stations in the first major city you visit or in player-owned islands. Here are the main types of crafting stations. Toolmaker. Items crafted. Gathering tools such as axes, pickaxes, sickles, and skinning knives. Use. Essential for gathering higher tier resources. Each tool is made from wood and the resource it gathers. Tanner. Items crafted. Leather from hides. Use. Leather is used in crafting leather armor and some weapons. Requires hides and refined materials. Weaver. Items crafted. Cloth from fiber. Use. Cloth is used in crafting cloth armor and some magic weapons. Requires fiber and refined materials. Lumbermill. Items crafted. Planks from wood. Use. Planks are used in crafting weapons, bows, staffs, and some buildings. Requires wood and refined materials. Stonemason. Items crafted. Stone blocks from raw stone. Use. Stone blocks are primarily used for building structures and upgrading player islands. Requires stone and refined materials. Smelter. Items crafted. Metal bars from ore. Use. Metal bars are used in crafting metal weapons, armor, and tools. Requires ore and refined materials. Warrior's Forge. Items crafted. Metal armor plate, swords, shields, and other melee weapons. Use. Creating gear for melee combat roles. Requires metal bars and other resources. Hunter's Lodge. Items crafted. Leather armor, bows, crossbows, and some melee weapons. Use. Crafting gear for ranged and agile melee combat roles. Requires leather, wood, and other resources. Mage's Tower. Items crafted. Cloth armor, staves, and other magical weapons. Use. Crafting gear for magic users. Requires cloth, wood, and other resources. Initial crafting goals. As a new player, your initial crafting goals should focus on creating the basic tools and gear you need for your desired role. Here's a step-by-step guide to get started. Gather basic resources. Start by gathering T2 resources: birch logs, limestone, copper ore, cotton, and rugged hide. These can be found in safe zones and are relatively easy to collect. Craft basic tools. Visit the toolmaker to craft T2 gathering tools. These tools will allow you to gather higher tier resources more efficiently. Craft your first set of gear. Depending on your chosen role, melee, ranged, or magic, craft a basic set of T2 gear. Warrior's Forge. Craft plate armor and a melee weapon if you plan to be a tank or melee DPS. Hunter's Lodge. Craft leather armor and a bow or crossbow if you plan to be a ranged DPS. Mage's Tower. Craft cloth armor and a staff if you plan to be a healer or magic DPS. Refine resources. Visit the respective refining stations: lumbermill, smelter, weaver, tanner, stonemason, to refine your gathered resources into crafting materials. Advancing in crafting. As you gather more resources and refine your materials, you can craft higher tier items. This progression is governed by the Destiny board, which unlocks new crafting abilities and specializations as you use your skills and accumulate fame experience in different activities. Crafting specializations. In Albion Online, crafting specialization is key to mastering specific types of gear. As you craft items, you gain crafting fame, which you can use to unlock and improve your proficiency in specific crafting branches on the Destiny board. Specializing in a particular type of gear, e.g., swords, bows, cloth armor, allows you to craft higher quality items with better stats and additional bonuses. Conclusion. Crafting in Albion Online is a complex and rewarding system that plays a crucial role in the game's economy and player progression. After completing the tutorial, you will have access to a variety of crafting options, allowing you to gather resources, refine materials, and create essential tools and gear for your adventures. As you progress, you can specialize in different crafting disciplines, mastering the creation of powerful items to support yourself and your allies in the game's dynamic world. Aaron Sawyer and Dylan E.T. stood at the threshold of the vibrant and untamed world of Albion, fresh from completing the tutorial. As they prepared to step into this vast sandbox MMORPG, they knew that understanding the game's intricate systems would be crucial for their survival and success. Character roles and class dynamics. Aaron and Dylan had chosen to complement each other's strengths, with Aaron assuming the role of a tank and Dylan as a healer. This classic duo would ensure they could face the myriad challenges of both PvE and PvP scenarios effectively. Aaron Sawyer, the tank. Aaron had equipped himself with plate armor, knowing that its high defense would allow him to absorb significant damage and protect Dylan. His choice of weapons leaned towards maces and hammers, ideal for crowd control and maintaining aggro on enemies. Guardian armor and soldier armor were among his preferred sets, offering abilities that boosted his survivability and control on the battlefield. Dylan E.T. the healer. Dylan, on the other hand, donned cloth armor to maximize his healing capabilities. His arsenal included nature staves and holy staves, like the Great Nature Staff and Great Holy Staff, which provided a range of healing spells and support abilities crucial for keeping Aaron and himself alive during combat. His choice of armor sets, such as the Cleric Robe and Mage Robe, enhanced his spell power and energy regeneration. Armor and gear systems. Aaron and Dylan knew that crafting and equipping the right gear was fundamental. They started by gathering basic resources: wood, stone, metal, fiber, and hide. Each of these resources was essential for creating the tools and gear necessary for their roles. Crafting options. Immediately after the tutorial, they found themselves in a city bustling with crafting stations. Aaron headed to the Warrior's Forge to craft his plate armor and melee weapons, while Dylan made his way to the Mage's Tower to create his cloth armor and staves. They also visited the toolmaker to craft the essential gathering tools, enabling them to collect higher-tier resources more efficiently. Armor tiers and sets. Understanding the tier system was crucial. They began with T2 resources to craft their initial gear but aimed to progress to higher tiers T3 to T8 as they gathered more resources and refined materials. This progression allowed them to create more powerful and specialized equipment. Spells and abilities. Aaron's abilities. Aaron's role as a tank meant mastering abilities that enhanced his defensive capabilities and crowd control. His gear provided him with spells to taunt enemies, reduce incoming damage, and increase his resistance. Abilities like Snare Charge and Root Prison from his mace and hammer were key to controlling the battlefield. Dylan's abilities. Dylan focused on healing and support spells. His nature staves offered healing over time and support spells, while his holy staves provided burst healing and defensive buffs. This combination allowed him to keep Aaron alive through the toughest encounters. Guiding new players. Aaron and Dylan were aware that their journey through Albion would be challenging. They prioritized establishing a strong foundation by crafting essential tools and gear, refining resources, and specializing in their respective roles. This approach would not only enhance their survivability but also ensure they could effectively support each other in group content. Supporting strategic play. Their knowledge of different gear sets and abilities allowed them to tailor their builds for various scenarios. Whether facing PvE dungeons or engaging in PvP battles, Aaron and Dylan could adapt their strategies to maximize their effectiveness. Aaron's robust defense and control paired perfectly with Dylan's healing and support, making them a formidable duo. Conclusion. Aaron Sawyer and Dylan ET stood ready to leave the tutorial area, armed with a deep understanding of Albion Online systems. They knew that their success depended on their ability to gather resources, craft and refine gear, and master their roles as tank and healer. As they ventured into the world of Albion, they were prepared to face its challenges head-on, confident in their strategy and synergy as a duo. Their journey was just beginning, and with their complementary skills and knowledge, they were poised to thrive in Albion's dynamic and player-driven world.
Back already? Stay back already. You know what to do. You've got this.
Yes? What is it? If I have to. If I have to. Goodbye. My back.
Excuse the smell. Done. Fine. Later then. Nowhere to hide. Good work. Okay. All right. Okay. Back and forth. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Hello, dear. Fiber to fabric. Of course. Yes, love. See you. Bye-bye.
Stick to the basics. stick to the basics.
She floats again. The tides have turned. Let's do this.
Albion Online, a massively multiplayer online role-playing game MMORPG, unfolds within a vast and dynamic world characterized by a rich tapestry of lore and history. The narrative of Albion Online is deeply rooted in the mythical land of Albion, where players delve into the saga of struggle and triumph that has shaped its lands. Origins and mythos. Albion is a land steeped in ancient legend and mystery. According to lore, it is said to be the birthplace of magic itself, where the powerful and enigmatic guardians, elemental beings of immense power, once roamed freely. These guardians were the custodians of Albion's natural balance, and their presence shaped the very essence of the land. However, as time passed, their influence waned, and Albion's fate fell into the hands of mortal races. The rise of factions. The land of Albion is divided among various factions, each with its own ambitions, beliefs, and conflicts. Royal Expeditionary Forces These are the remnants of the royal armies of the Old Kingdom, seeking to reclaim lost territories and restore order under the banner of the king. Disciples of Morgana. Followers of the powerful sorceress Morgana, these dark cultists delve into forbidden magic to gain power and dominance over Albion. Keepers of Albion. Druids and nature worshippers who seek to preserve the natural balance of the land, resisting exploitation and destruction. The Heretics. A mysterious group who opposes all established factions, believing in radical change and the liberation of Albion from external control. The Throne Wars. Central to Albion Online's lore is the constant struggle for control over the throne of Albion. This throne represents not only political power but also access to ancient and potent artifacts hidden throughout the land. Guilds and alliances vie for dominance, forging alliances and betraying rivals in their pursuit of supremacy. The echoes of the past. Throughout the world of Albion, remnants of its storied past are scattered like pieces of a puzzle. Ruins and relics. Ancient ruins dot the landscape, remnants of a time when Albion was ruled by forces beyond mortal comprehension. These ruins often hold clues to powerful artifacts and magical secrets. Mystical artifacts. Powerful artifacts, imbued with the essence of the Guardians, are coveted by all factions. These artifacts have the potential to shift the balance of power in Albion decisively. The ever-changing landscape. Albion is not a static world. It evolves based on the actions of its inhabitants. Players shape the course of history through their decisions and conquests. Player-driven economy. The economy of Albion is entirely player-driven, with resources harvested, crafted, and traded by adventurers seeking wealth and power. Territory control. Guilds and alliances compete for control over territories, establishing cities and fortresses that serve as bastions of power and commerce. Conclusion. In summary, Albion Online weaves together a compelling narrative of conflict, magic, and exploration in a world shaped by its players. It challenges adventurers to carve their own path, whether as conquerors, traders, or scholars, amidst the backdrop of a land steeped in ancient lore and primed for epic tales of heroism and treachery. In-depth exploration of Albion Online systems. A guide for tanks and healers.
Satisfied?
Theme and intent. Theme. The thread offers an in-depth exploration of Albion Online's gameplay systems, with a focus on the roles of tanks and healers, their gear, and abilities. It covers character roles, armor and gear systems, spells and abilities, and crafting options, aiming to equip players with comprehensive knowledge to enhance their gameplay experience. Intent. The goal is to educate and empower Albion Online players, guiding new players in establishing a strong foundation and enhancing the understanding of roles for all players. This supports strategic play and effective role performance in various game scenarios. Character roles and class dynamics. Tank roles. Absorb damage, control the battlefield, protect allies. Gear. Plate armor for high defense and resistance, guardian armor, soldier armor, knight armor. Abilities. taunting enemies, reducing incoming damage, increasing resistance, and crowd control, snare charge, root prison. Healer. Roles. Maintain team health, dispel debuffs, provide support. Gear. Cloth armor for boosting healing capabilities, cleric rogue, mage rogue, druid rogue. Abilities. Healing spells and support abilities using nature staves, great nature staff, and holy staves, great holy staff. Armor and gear systems. Albion Online's armor and gear system is designed for maximum flexibility, allowing players to tailor their abilities and playstyle through their choice of equipment. Armor types. Plate armor. High defense, damage mitigation, crowd control resistance. Best for tanks. Leather armor. Balanced defense and mobility, increased attack speed. Suited for agile roles. Cloth armor. Boosts magical abilities and damage output but offers low defense. Ideal for mages and healers. Weapon types. Melee weapons. Swords, axes, maces, spears for various combat styles. Ranged weapons. Bows, crossbows for ranged physical damage. Magic weapons. Fire staves, frost staves, cursed staves for magical damage and crowd control. Healing weapons. Nature staves and holy staves for healing and support. Gear quality and enchantment. Gear ranges from common to masterpiece, affecting stats and effectiveness. Enchantments enhance item power, indicated by Roman numerals or tier colors. Crafting and customization. Reforging. Adjust item attributes. Enchanting. Enhance item power. Runes, souls, and relics. Add special properties during crafting. Spells and abilities. Tanks. Defensive abilities. Taunting, reducing damage, increasing resistance. Crowd control. Snare charge, root prison to control the battlefield. Healers. Healing spells. Nature staves for healing over time, holy staves for burst healing. Support abilities. Defensive buffs and dispelling debuffs. Crafting options. After the tutorial, players can gather resources and craft essential gear. Here's a step-by-step guide for new players. Gather basic resources. Birch logs, limestone, copper ore, cotton, and rugged hide. Craft basic tools. Visit the toolmaker to craft T2 gathering tools. Craft initial gear. Warrior's Forge. Plate armor and melee weapons. Hunter's Lodge. Leather armor and bows crossbows. Mage's Tower. Cloth armor and staves. Refine resources. Use lumbermill, smelter, weaver, tanner, stonemason to refine gathered resources. Tank DPS healer structure. Albion Online incorporates traditional MMORPG roles but with flexibility due to its classless system. Tank. Role. Absorb damage, control enemies. Gear. Plate armor, maces, hammers, shields. DPS. Melee DPS. Swords, axes, daggers with leather armor. Ranged DPS. Bows, crossbows with leather armor. Magic DPS. Fire staves, frost staves, cursed staves with cloth armor. Healer. Role. Maintain health, provide support. Gear. Cloth armor, nature staves, holy staves. Conclusion. Albion Online's dynamic systems, from the armor and gear to the crafting and character roles, provide players with a rich and flexible gameplay experience. By understanding and effectively utilizing these systems, players can tailor their characters to suit various scenarios, enhancing their effectiveness and enjoyment in the game. In Albion Online, the harvesting and gathering mechanics are integral to its player-driven economy and crafting system. Players engage in gathering resources that serve as the foundational materials for crafting various gear and items in the game. Here's a detailed exploration of the primary materials that can be harvested and collected. Fiber. Source. Fiber is gathered from plants found across Albion's landscapes. Types. Different tiers of fiber exist, ranging from T2 to T8, each tier corresponding to different zones of difficulty and resource availability. Use. Fiber is primarily used in crafting cloth armor and certain types of magical weapons. It's refined at the weaver crafting station to produce cloth, which forms the basis of cloth armor sets and some enchanted gear. Hide. Source. Hides are obtained by skinning animals that roam the world. Types. Like other resources, hides come in various tiers T2 to T8, with higher tiers found in more dangerous zones. Use. Hides are essential for crafting leather armor and certain types of melee weapons. They are refined at the tanner crafting station to produce leather, which is used in crafting leather armor sets and some melee weapons. Wood. Source. Wood is gathered from trees scattered throughout Albion's biomes. Types. It also spans tiers T2 to T8, with higher tiers located in progressively more challenging environments. Use. Wood is crucial for crafting a variety of items including gathering tools, furniture, buildings, bows, staves, and shields. It's refined at the lumber mill crafting station to produce planks, which are used in crafting many different types of gear and structures. Ore. Source. Ore is mined from mineral veins found in rocky outcrops and caves. Types. Similarly, ore comes in tiers T2 to T8, with higher tiers found deeper in more hazardous zones. Use. Ore is a primary material for crafting metal weapons, armor, tools, and buildings. It's refined at the smelter crafting station to produce metal bars, which are used extensively in the creation of metal-based gear. Stone. Source. Stone is harvested from rock deposits and quarries. Types. It follows the same tier system T2 to T8 and distribution as other resources. Use. Stone is essential for constructing buildings and upgrading player islands. It's refined at the stonemason crafting station to produce stone blocks, which are primarily used in construction and upgrades. Each resource type in Albion Online plays a critical role in the game's economy and crafting ecosystem. The availability and tier of resources dictate the complexity and power of crafted items, encouraging players to venture into more dangerous zones to gather higher tier materials. This gathering process not only supports individual crafting needs but also fuels the broader player-driven market where surplus materials can be sold or traded for profit. Understanding and efficiently gathering these resources are key to progressing in crafting and contributing to the dynamic economy of Albion Online. In Albion Online, each biome features distinct environmental characteristics that influence the types and availability of resources stone, ore, wood, hide, and fiber that can be harvested. Here's a detailed description of the ecosystem and resource species found in each biome. 1. Forest biome. Wood, birch, pine, cedar, oak. Tiers. T2 birch to T7 oak. Hide. Deer, boar. Tiers. T2 deer to T5 boar. Fiber. Hemp, flax. Tiers. T2 to T6. Ore. None. Forest biomes typically lack mineral deposits. Stone. None. Ecosystem characteristics. Forest biomes are characterized by dense vegetation, tall trees, and plentiful wildlife. Players can gather wood from various types of trees and hunt animals for hides. Fiber resources like hemp and flax are also abundant, making these biomes ideal for gathering materials used in cloth and leather crafting. 2. Highland biome. Wood, ash, yew, blood oak. Tiers. T4 ash to T8 blood oak. Hide. Direwolf, bear. Tiers. T4 direwolf to T7 bear. Fiber. Cotton, skyflower. Tiers. T4 to T8. Ore. Slate, limestone. Tiers. T4 to T8. Stone. Granite, sandstone. Tiers. T4 to T8. Ecosystem characteristics. Highlands are rugged terrains with rolling hills and rocky outcrops. They offer a diverse range of resources including high-tier wood, hides from large predators, various ores for metalworking, and sturdy stones for construction. This biome suits players seeking rare and valuable materials for advanced crafting. 3. Mountain biome. Wood, yew, birch. Tiers. T4 yew to T6 birch. Hide. Bighorn bison. Tiers. T4. Fiber. Cotton, skyflower. Tiers. T4 to T8. Ore, tin, copper, iron. Tiers, T4 to T6. Stone, granite, sandstone. Tiers, T4 to T8. Ecosystem characteristics. Mountains are characterized by steep slopes, rocky peaks, and sparse vegetation. They provide access to valuable ores like tin, copper, and iron, essential for mid-tier metalworking. Players can also find high-quality wood and fiber here, along with specific hides from mountain-dwelling animals. 4. Steppe biome. Wood, ash, yew. Tiers, T4 ash to T6 yew. Hide, horse, antelope. Tiers, T4 horse to T6 antelope. Fiber, cotton, sunflower. Tiers, T4 to T8. Ore, tin, copper. Tiers, T4 to T5. Stone, granite, limestone. Tiers, T4 to T6. Ecosystem characteristics. Steppes feature wide plains and grasslands with sparse trees. They are rich in resources suitable for mid-tier crafting, such as hides from fast mammals like horses and antelopes, various ores for metalworking, and fiber for cloth production. Steppes are a balanced biome for gathering diverse materials. 5. Swamp biome. Wood, pine, ash. Tiers, T4 pine to T6 ash. Hide, swamp salamander, swamp dragon. Tiers, T4 salamander to T6 dragon. Fiber, hemp, flax. Tiers, T4 to T6. Ore, none. Stone, none. Ecosystem characteristics. Swamps are characterized by wetlands, murky waters, and dense vegetation. They offer unique resources such as hides from amphibious creatures like salamanders and dragons, as well as a variety of wood and fiber. However, they lack mineral deposits, focusing more on organic resources. 6. Desert biome. Wood, cactus. Tiers, T4 to T6. Hide, sand scarab, dune lizard. Tiers, T4 scarab to T6 lizard. Fiber, cotton, skyflower. Tiers, T4 to T8. Ore, tin, copper, silver. Tiers, T4 to T6. Stone, sandstone, granite. Tiers, T4 to T6. Ecosystem characteristics. Deserts are arid landscapes with sand dunes and rocky terrain. They offer specialized resources including hides from desert-dwelling creatures like scarabs and lizards, unique cactus wood, and ores like silver alongside standard metals. Deserts are challenging but rewarding for skilled gatherers. Each biome in Albion Online presents unique challenges and opportunities for resource gathering, catering to different crafting needs and playstyles. Understanding these ecosystems and their resource distributions is crucial for efficient gathering and economic success in the game. Tier 2 T2 Armor. T2 Cloth Armor Healers Novices Cloth Armor Set. Novices Scholar Cowl. Description: a light headpiece made from basic materials, offering minimal protection but enhancing spellcasting capabilities. Abilities: Energy Regain. Restores a portion of your energy over time, ensuring you have enough to keep casting spells. Passive: increases energy regeneration rate. Novice's Scholar Robe. Description: a simple robe that provides a boost to magical abilities while offering basic defense against physical and magical attacks. Abilities: Speed Caster. Reduces the casting time of your next spell, allowing for faster spell delivery in critical moments. Passive: increases casting speed and energy regeneration. Novice's Scholar Sandals. Description: basic sandals that increase movement speed and enhance your ability to evade danger. Abilities: Run. Temporarily boosts your movement speed, useful for escaping danger or positioning yourself better in combat. Passive: slightly increases movement speed and energy regeneration. T2 Plate Armor Tents Novice's Plate Armor Set. Novice's Soldier Helmet. Description: a sturdy helmet providing significant protection to the head, essential for frontline defenders. Abilities: Toughness. Reduces incoming damage for a short period, increasing survivability in combat. Passive. Increases defense against both physical and magical attacks. Novice's Soldier Armor. Description: heavy armor designed to absorb and mitigate damage, protecting the wearer from both melee and ranged attacks. Abilities: Taunt. Forces enemies to attack you, redirecting their aggression away from allies. Passive. Increases physical resistance and crowd control resistance. Novice's Soldier Boots. Description: heavy boots that provide stability and enhanced defense, crucial for maintaining a strong presence on the battlefield. Abilities: Giant. Temporarily increases your size and health, making you a larger target and increasing your survivability. Passive. Increases defense and crowd control resistance. Tier 3 T3 Armor. T3 Cloth Armor Healers Journeyman's Cloth Armor Set. Journeyman's Scholar Cowl. Description: an upgraded version of the T2 Cowl, offering better protection and enhanced spellcasting boosts. Abilities: Energy Regain. Continues to restore energy over time, critical for maintaining spellcasting during prolonged fights. Passive. Further increases energy regeneration rate and casting speed. Journeyman's Scholar Robe. Description: a more refined robe that provides significant boosts to spell power while offering enhanced defense compared to T2. Abilities: Speedcaster. Reduces the casting time of your next spell, ensuring faster response during combat. Passive. Increases spell power and energy regeneration. Journeyman's Scholar Sandals. Description: improved sandals that provide better movement speed and evasive capabilities. Abilities: Run. Enhanced movement speed boost, allowing for quicker repositioning or escape. Passive. Increases movement speed and slightly boosts energy regeneration. T3 Plate Armor Tanks Journeyman's Plate Armor Set. Journeyman's Soldier Helmet. Description: a robust helmet offering superior protection to the head and enhancing defensive capabilities. Abilities: Toughness. Reduces incoming damage more effectively than T2, increasing durability in combat. Passive. Increases defense against physical and magical attacks more significantly. Journeyman's Soldier Armor. Description: heavier and more protective than T2, this armor is designed to absorb and mitigate higher levels of damage. Abilities: Taunt. Enhanced ability to force enemies to focus on you, protecting allies more effectively. Passive. Increases physical and magical resistance, and crowd control resistance. Journeyman's Soldier Boots. Description: heavier boots that provide better stability and defense, essential for tanking in more challenging encounters. Abilities: Giant. Increases size and health more significantly, improving survivability and making you a larger target. Passive. Increases defense and crowd control resistance more than T2. Conclusion: at the early levels of Albion Online, T2 and T3 armor sets are crucial for establishing your role and effectiveness in combat. For healers, the cloth armor sets enhance spellcasting abilities and energy regeneration, while for tanks, the plate armor sets offer significant protection and crowd control capabilities. These early tier armors set the foundation for your progression into higher tiers, where more specialized and powerful equipment becomes available. Dash 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 dash. The bracketed text serves as a comprehensive guide and overview of the character roles, class dynamics, armor and gear systems, as well as crafting mechanics within the context of Albion Online, an MMORPG known for its classless system and player-driven economy. Here's a detailed breakdown of its theme and intent. Character roles and class dynamics. This section outlines the traditional MMORPG roles adapted in Albion Online: tank, healer, and DPS, with a twist of flexibility due to its classless system. It describes tank responsibilities, suitable gear, plate armor, and abilities focused on absorbing damage and controlling enemies. Healer role in maintaining team health, preferred gear, cloth armor, and healing support abilities. DPS differentiates between melee, ranged, and magic DPS roles, detailing appropriate gear and weapon choices for each. Armor and gear systems. Albion Online's gear system offers extensive customization through 3 main armor types. Plate armor, high defense, suited for tanks. Leather armor balances defense with mobility, ideal for agile roles. Cloth armor enhances magical abilities at the expense of physical defense, perfect for mages and healers. The system also covers various weapon types and their roles in combat, from melee weapons, swords, axes, to magic weapons, fire staves, frost staves, each influencing playstyle and combat strategy. Crafting and customization. Crafting in Albion Online is pivotal, allowing players to gather resources: wood, stone, metal, fiber, hide, and refine them at specific crafting stations: lumbermill, smelter, weaver, etc. This process supports the creation of diverse gear. Toolmaker crafts gathering tools. Warrior's Forge, Hunter's Lodge, Mage's Tower craft armor and weapons tailored to specific combat roles. Crafting progression is highlighted, encouraging players to refine resources and advance through tiers to create more powerful gear. Specialization in crafting disciplines enhances the quality and effectiveness of crafted items. Intent and theme. The intent of the bracketed text is to provide players with a comprehensive understanding of Albion Online's foundational gameplay mechanics. Educational. Offers detailed explanations of roles, gear types, and crafting processes, essential for new players to grasp the game's complexity. Strategic. Guides players on optimizing character builds and crafting strategies based on their chosen roles and playstyles. Economic. Emphasizes the interplay between resource gathering, crafting, and the player-driven market, crucial for the game's economy. Overall, the bracketed text aims to empower players with knowledge to navigate Albion Online's dynamic world effectively, fostering strategic decision-making in character development, gear customization, and economic interactions. It serves as a foundational guide for players looking to engage deeply with the game's diverse mechanics and systems.